Hello everybody, welcome to this video. I hope you're all doing well. It's been a while since we've talked about records, isn't it? I can't remember the last video I made about vinyl records. However, I do still collect music, not as much as I used to, hence why the channel's kind of moved over to movies and things. But I did a poll recently on the videos people like to watch of mine, and the vinyl record videos surprisingly came out on top. I know I did it for quite a while, a few years ago, but I'm surprised that that's still the stuff that people like to see. That's, you know, not a complaint, just an observation. So I figured, you know what kind of video can I make? Because I don't really want to do updates anymore, especially with records. So I thought, you know what, I thought ages ago I'd made a video showing off my soundtracks, but I can't find it if I have made it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through my vinyl soundtrack collection. It's mainly horror films, there's a couple of video games in there, a few other bits and pieces, but frankly I think it's the coolest stuff that I own, and it's the stuff that I enjoy talking about the most, and it's the nicest to show off. So we're going to do that. It won't all be in this video because I own quite a few, so I'll probably split this over a couple of videos. If you can hear a dog noise, that's because there's a dog making noise. Yeah, I'll probably split it over a few videos, but today I've got the stack of kind of weird ones, and I'll see how far I get, see if I can kind of condense it down and get as much in as possible. However, yeah, enough talking, let's get on. There's a few different companies in here. There's like Waxwork Records, Mondo, Death Waltz, a few other places, One Way Static and Laced Records and things like that. I wholeheartedly recommend all of these that you're about to see because they're wonderful. We're going to start with the Outlier. This is from a TV show, and it's going to be pretty obvious which TV show it's from, if you can see it. There we go. That's Doctor Who, The Horror of Fang Rock. Now this is one of my favourite episodes of classic Doctor Who. It's of the Tom Baker era, and it's a proper gothic kind of, well, gothic isn't the right word, Victorian probably is a better word. It's set at this old lighthouse in the fog, and there's something outside trying to get in, and yeah, it's a wonderful story. It's got the classic, you know, yeah, the special effects are a little bit cheesy. However, as a story, as a piece of atmosphere, it's really creepy. Obviously why I like it, being a horror fan. And yeah, a lot of these stories now have vinyl reissues, which is really cool. I think it's, as far as I know, it's just the audio taken straight from the episodes and put onto tape, so you can kind of listen to it like an audiobook, which is really, really cool. So yeah, my dad got me this. It's the only one of the Doctor Who things that I own, although I would like to collect a few more. So yeah, who released this? Just the BBC? It looks to be just the BBC. But yeah, so you've got the beautiful, vibrant cover on the front there. Green, the colour green plays a big part in this story, hence the emphasis on it. You've got the cast and everything inside. And then, if we pull these out, it's on 2 records, but they are both the same as far as I can remember. You've got, again, more cast and crew on that side, TARDIS on that side, and you've got a mysterious green blob in the middle, which is so apt for the story. Because, spoiler alert, that's kind of what the monster is. It's just a green jellyfish. However, that's beside the point. Yeah, I absolutely love this. It's such an interesting thing to get released on vinyl, because do you know, when you put a DVD in, because I've got this story on DVD, you kind of feel like you have to be there and pay full attention, whereas this, it's nice to have on in the background just to kind of go, and you can tune in and out as and when you want to. Like I said, it's like listening to an audiobook. But yeah, I absolutely love this. That's Doctor Who, The Horror of Fang Rock, released by the BBC. Right, now we're into some video games. Who released this? This is Mondo, and this is one of my favourite game soundtracks. This and its sequel, especially, particularly Part 2. This is the soundtrack to Silent Hill, the original video game from 1999, I believe it is. If you haven't played Silent Hill, oh my god, it's such a piece of art. Again, particularly the second one, but the first one is fantastic as well. I'm not going to divulge anything about the game. Attention seeker. I'm not going to divulge anything about the game. I'm just going to show off the record. So there you go, that's Harry's Jeep on the front. You've got a picture of God inside with some questionable nip slippage. It's a long one as well. It's got 2 records in it, a lot of different tracks. The music is by Akira Yamaoka, I believe his name is. Doesn't actually say on the back. I'm sure it's Akira Yamaoka though. Yeah, this soundtrack is very industrial, is how I'll describe it. There's a lot of, you're not going to find radio-friendly kind of, you know, chill beats on here. It's quite a strange album. It's a mix of, like I say, industrial, sparse kind of soundscapes and the occasional the occasional kind of relaxing, chilled out piece of music. But yeah, it's fantastic background music if ever you're doing anything. It sounds almost insulting to call it, excuse me, to call it background music, but I absolutely love listening to it for that reason. It's just, it puts me in a place where I can really focus, as does the soundtrack to its sequel, which is even better. Yeah, this is, excuse me, this is Akira Yamaoka again. And this is just fantastic. Even if you're not a video game fan, I recommend finding this album. Even if it's just on Spotify, I know it's on there, and every track is just absolutely wonderful. Again, it's kind of, what's the phrase? It's more of the same of what's on the first one, but I find this one to be a little more relaxed. You've got one of the classic Silent Hill nurses on the back there. Sorry about that streak of light. There's all your tracks. Again, it's split over two records. Inside you've got the classic villain Pyramid Head, or is he a villain? Who knows? And again, I think this is, where are we? Oh, it's on clear vinyl, this one. The one was on white. So yeah, got a drain cover label on that one. Just check what the other one is to see if it's any different. But if I was to recommend, oh, of course. Ooh, that's different to what I was expecting. Marbly red. There was a hole here. It's gone now. Yeah, if I was to recommend one of the albums I'm going to show off, as much as I love them all, please just listen to Silent Hill 2. It's an absolute work of art. As is the game, if you can track it down. I'm fortunate enough to own the Silent Hill collection on the PlayStation 2. And it's, yeah, that goes for a lot of money now. So I've got Silent Hill 1, 2, 3 and 4, which I'm just extremely thankful for. Sticking with 90s video games, we've got the classics survival horror experience that is Resident Evil, released by Laced Records, this one is. What a landmark game this is, and what a soundtrack as well. It's such a mix of stuff. It's creepy, there's some rock in here, there's all sorts. Again, you've got just reams and reams of songs. I'll just slide this off quickly so I can show you. There's the mansion on the back. Look at the tracks on that. Albeit they're not all kind of, 3 and 4 minute songs, but yeah, there, look at that. That's the inside of the mansion from the game. And if I remember rightly, this is on blue vinyl. Yes, it is. It's on blue vinyl. Both of them are, so I won't pull them both out. Kind of transparent blue vinyl. And that's in the middle. I don't know if it's supposed to be different, but it reminds me of the ink ribbons that you used to save at the typewriters in the game. So yeah, that's another one I discovered completely by accident. I paid quite a lot of money for it when it came out, but it was one of those that, being a video game fan, being a vinyl fan, and being a horror fan, I was like, I can't not get it. So that's Resident Evil. And I also bought with it, following suit with the Silent Hill trend there, Resident Evil 2. Which again, I think Resident Evil 2 is better than the first one. The same with Silent Hill, I think that the second one's better than the first one. But yeah, again, more of the same fantastic music. Beautiful artwork on this one. The police station is such a fantastic environment. I'm kind of talking, I'm talking to people who might not even know what this video game is, but I don't care. If you get the chance again, go and play it. Marble red vinyl. This is what I mean by soundtracks just being the most interesting stuff to show off, because they're all stunning. And yes, it is. It's an ink ribbon thing. I can see it on the label there. So yeah, really, really happy to own those. I don't like them as much as the Silent Hill soundtracks, but they're bloody close. There's that one. Taking a sharp left turn now, we've got Minecraft. A game I unapologetically love. The music is wonderfully relaxing. I'm not going to talk about Minecraft. Everyone knows what Minecraft is by now, I think. And predictably, it is on lovely green vinyl. Just making sure the dog isn't going to chew my bloody Resident Evil records. So yeah, again, Minecraft, I know it's kind of one of those games that has a bit of a reputation for having a certain audience. However, the music is really lovely. I think there's a couple of volumes of the music out now. This is just the first one. But yeah, highly recommended. It's a nice chill out album. I don't care what anyone says. And this is an interesting one. This is a box set I got of Telltale's The Walking Dead, which are wonderful games, and the music is suitably fantastic in them. So this has got 4 records in it, because the game has like a season 1, 2, 3 and 4, all obviously with their own soundtrack. And it comes in this box, which it unfortunately came a little bit damaged. I don't know if you can see the rip on the side there, but I'll be honest, it's not going to bother me too much. And you lift up the top, and inside, a little bit awkward to get out. They all come in their own individual sleeves. You've got season 1, season 2. You know what? Easier to tip them up. Come on. There we go. Season 3 and season 4. So yeah, only single records. These ones are. The artwork is absolutely fantastic. It's so in keeping with the style of the game. I'll quickly pull one of the records out because they are all the same. There's the back of season 2. There's the back of season 1. This game makes me cry my eyes out. There you go. They're all on that same kind of orange vinyl. I wish that sunbeam wasn't there, but it is. Yeah, I can't remember how much I paid for this. Again, it was kind of an impulse buy when it came out because I like the games that much. I thought I can't not get this. And again, I'm super glad I've got it. So that's The Walking Dead by Telltale. Excuse the jump cut, I just had to go and change stack. So that's the video game soundtracks over with. We're now on to movies, and with the exception of this first one, they are all horror movie soundtracks. So if you're a horror fan, stick around. But the first one is not a horror movie. It is a fantastic movie nonetheless. It is Edgar Wright's Baby Driver, which is a fabulous film. It's totally Edgar Wright's style. It's very music driven. The editing is fantastic. It's so well written and put together. It's very funny where it needs to be. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's about a getaway driver and his kind of obsession with music, and I'm finding it hard to describe because there's a lot of different things going on in it. It's like an action film. It's a suspense thriller. It's got romance. It's got comedy. There's all sorts. But yeah, the songs on it. This is not a score. This is a proper soundtrack. These are the songs that feature in the film. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them because Edgar Wright is an absolute unit when it comes to putting cool songs in his films. Yeah, I won't pull both these out because I think these are both on black vinyl. Yeah, there you go. Just a standard on that one, but I think I got that from HMV, and it's a fantastic collection of music. Very genre bending as well. It's not all just rock or hip hop. There's a good mixture of everything in there. So that is the soundtrack to Baby Driver. Now we're getting juicy because this is from Death Waltz and Mondo, and this is the soundtrack to Absurd, the video nasty, also called Rosso Sangue, I believe, whatever that means in Italian. Directed by Joe D'Amato and starring George Eastman, who is the man pulling his guts out, which spells absurd. It took me a while to realise that. First thing to note, which is going to be hard to show off in this light. Oh my god, what, I tell you what, do you know what? That's a bit better for showing stuff off, but Absurd is kind of embossed. I'm struggling to find the light to show it off. But yeah, basically run your fingers over his guts and it's all bumpy. Yeah, so that is the front cover, back cover there. That is, first of all, artwork. Stunningly beautiful. Grisly, but stunningly beautiful. Yeah, this film was famously banned in the UK when it came out. And it's quite a nasty one, I'm not going to lie. It has some of my favourite vinyl as well, because the first one is kind of like a standard red colour, but then the second one, which I'll pull out, it just oozes kind of sleaze, and it's a weird thing to say about, you know, it's just a record, but look at that, how minging and awful is that? I love it. Encapsulates how gritty and nasty and yuck the film is. The soundtrack is it Carlo Maria Cordio? I feel like that's a name that sounds about right. It's the same guy who did the soundtrack to Pieces and a few other things, and it's very synth heavy. It's a fantastic soundtrack. It's one of the first times where I've watched a film and immediately bought the soundtrack afterwards because I enjoyed it that much. And again, 4 sides of music, there's a lot on there. So that is Absurd, Joe D'Amato. Next up we've got, need I say more? This is Alien, the score by Jerry Goldsmith, I think it is. I believe my ex-partner bought me this because his favourite film was Alien. What are you scratching for? And the soundtrack to this is bizarre. It's not as science fiction as you might expect. It's very classic orchestra kind of stuff. It's not so heavy on the synths and more heavy on the strings, I find. But open this up. Predictably, we've got bright green marble vinyl. I believe it might be the soundtrack to Aliens that this is true, but there is a liquid-filled one, which is like all this green goo flying around inside. Won't open the second record because yeah, that's the same. But that is Ridley Scott's Alien. And then we've got a film which I absolutely adore and rewatched recently and completely confirmed how much I adore it. This is Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. This is released by Death Waltz and Mondo, and the soundtrack is by Fabio Frizzi, who also did Zombie Flesh Eaters and a few other things like that. Graham Humphrey's artwork, first of all, how beautiful is that? And I like it when they have the shots on the back there. It feels like the original releases would, because I've seen kind of original soundtrack releases and they all have snapshots on the back. So yeah, I really, really like that. The music in this, I have to admit, isn't my favourite, but the film itself is wonderful. Is this just on black vinyl? It is just on black vinyl, that one. But yeah, the film, if you can track it down, is a wonderful, wonderfully gory and creepy ghost story. It is really a ghost story. So yeah, that is The Beyond. This is a new one. This is one I got for my birthday. This is from Death Waltz. Can you tell by that? The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. There it is, the Dario Argento film from 1970, I think it is. I'll show the record in a second. I just kind of like... There's a couple of Argento things where they've gone with this, I think it's Japanese. This Japanese kind of font and writing. I know Japanese posters are quite popular. They tend to be quite cool, but there's this and there's a soundtrack later on of Argento's that also has the Japanese style. I'm saying Japanese, I hope it's Japanese. I'm not educated enough to know, but yeah, Bird with the Crystal Plumage. This is going to be hard to show off because this is very shiny. So you've got the reflection of a woman in a bird's eye. On the back there, you've got more of this font. I won't make any more assumptions. The only thing is, look at the fingerprints that show up on it because it's so glossy. It's a double LP again. Inside is the opening scene. Oh my word. Yeah, of the woman being killed in the art gallery. And I'm going to pull these out because, I'm going to pull one of them out at least, because they are on, again, possibly predictably, crystal vinyl. So you can see right through them. So yeah, on one side there you've got a kind of Giallo-esque looking thing, and then you've got more of the same writing on that side. I'm assuming it says Bird of the Crystal Plumage, but I'm not too sure. So yeah, that is... I cannot wait to dig into this, because this is by Ennio Morricone, the soundtrack to The Bird of the Crystal Plumage, and what a wonderful release this is. I didn't even know this had a release, had this release anyway, until I unwrapped it, and yeah, my dad had got me it. So really cool stuff. That is The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Now this next one I have to admit to not knowing much about because I haven't listened to it yet. The reason I haven't listened to it yet is because I haven't seen the film and I like to watch the film beforehand. However, Giallo fans will be happy to see The Black Belly of the Tarantula. I can't comment on the music, I can't comment on the film, I can just show this off as the beautiful piece of art that it is. These are the Giallo soundtracks in particular I absolutely adore, especially when they go for the garish yellow artwork. Let's open this up. I can't remember, is this just on black vinyl? It's very heavy vinyl, bloody hell. That'll be why. Yeah, I think they are just on black vinyl. And the music is by Ennio Morricone again. He did quite a lot of the Giallo soundtracks. He's a very diverse composer. So, again, I'd like to tell you that the music is good. I'm sure it is, but I'm not going to say because I haven't heard it. But yeah, that is The Black Belly of the Tarantula. Getting towards the end of the stack for this video now. As you can tell, we're going in alphabetical order and we're only up to B, so that tells you how many we've got. This next one is the soundtrack by Carl Zitra to Bob Clark's Black Christmas. Now, this is one of my favourites. Not only do we watch this film religiously every Christmas Eve, and it's a fantastic... I don't really want to call it a slasher film, because the slasher film feels a bit like, I don't know, cheesy, but it kind of is a slasher film, I suppose. Yeah, Canadian, it's super effective. It's more effective than most slasher films I've seen. It's got Margot Kidder in it, it's got Olivia Hussey in it, it's got Keir Delay from 2001: A Space Odyssey. And this release is interesting because it's not just like a track-by-track list of the pieces of music that appear in the film. It's like a soundscape, because there's not a whole lot of music in the original film, I have to admit, but you get in here, you get kind of character dialogue, you get carolers singing, you know, there's a part where some Christmas carolers come to the door, and it's all mixed together in this kind of weird soundscape. It's not a particularly long album, it's a 45 RPM one, so I think it only lasts about 20 or 25 minutes, but it's, yeah, fantastic. I really like what they've done with it. So you've got the rotary phone on that side. I think this is on, yeah, it's on kind of misty vinyl, that one. A couple of different releases of that one. I'm sure there's one that has like a red splatter in the middle. But yeah, the music's fantastic, and it's another film that if you can track down, especially at Christmas, I highly recommend it. Who released this one? Let's have a look. Waxwork Records released this one. I love Waxwork Records. And we're in another situation of me not having heard or seen the music or the film for this one, but this is the Bloodstained Shadow. Ah, this is the little slip that came on the side. The Bloodstained Shadow, also called Solamente Nero in its native Italian. Now the music on here is by Stelvio Cipriani, or Cipriani, I don't know how to say his name, but I know he has done a lot of Giallo soundtracks. I also did the soundtrack to Umberto Lenzi's Nightmare City, which I've got coming in the post, so expect that soon. Yeah, again, I'd love to tell you more about this film and more about this music, but unfortunately I cannot. I think though, if we open this up, it's really, really, really garish. Yes, look at that. Not only have we got a dead girl, we've got the name of the film in Italian. What more could you possibly want? And I'll quickly open this up. Again, I get the feeling, yeah, that's just on black vinyl, that one, so I won't pull it out for you. We all know what black vinyl looks like. I'll just pull out the interesting ones. So that is the Bloodstained Shadow. And the last one I'm going to show off in this video is probably one of the better known films, admittedly, that I'm going to show off. And I said they're all horror films from here, but this isn't really a horror film as much as it is horrifying. David Lynch, yeah, Blue Velvet, starring Kyle MacLachlan, Isabella Rossellini, Dennis Hopper, Laura Dern. Wonderful movie. I absolutely adore David Lynch. I haven't talked about David Lynch on this channel yet much. But yeah, this is an interesting one because it's half of Angelo Badalamenti's score and the other half is songs that are featured in the film. Interestingly enough, Blue Velvet isn't on here, which is the one song that you'd have thought definitely would make the cut. But nevertheless, it's a fantastic soundtrack. Again, this was a HMV purchase, I think, and it's just on black vinyl, so I won't pull it out. But it was, I know it was voted as one of the best soundtracks ever made. So if that doesn't tell you how good it is and urge you to go and listen to it, then I don't know what will. So yeah, I highly recommend this film and I highly recommend this beautiful piece of music, Blue Velvet. That one is. Ooh, that was a bit weird. It feels like it's been ages since I've sat and talked about records, but I quite enjoyed that. So yeah, let me know what you think of the things that I've shown off. If you've seen the films, let me know what you think again. And I will be carrying on with this whenever I get the chance to. There won't be hundreds and hundreds of videos, it'll probably be maybe 3 or 4 just to get through them all. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. So thank you very much for watching, I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you again very soon.